Alright, Truckers and Truckers, time to take a look at the second episode of the day, which is His Way. Odo, Kira, Dr. Bashir, Chief of Brain, and Dax and Warfare in a holosuite enjoyed the performance of Vic Fontaine, the Dr. Slayer's holo program. He's singing, "You're nobody till somebody loves you," and everybody's enjoying themselves. After his performance, he joins the entourage where Bashir introduces him to everyone. Fontaine cracks to a joke and uses some 20th century jargon that most of the crew don't understand. It turns out that, thanks to Felix, he's a silver hologram and a very astute and insightful one on top of that. He's immediately able to tell that Worf and Dax have not been married for a long time and that O'Brien misses his wife. Before he says anything about Kira and Odo, understanding that it's best not to talk about it for the moment. Before they leave, he advises them to dress fancy the next time for the occasion, as currently they all look like a trapeze act. After the group leaves the holosuite to go into Quarks, they continue on about how impressed they are with the program and Fontaine in particular. The searchers just meet up again the next evening to the casinos to play a little blackjack and roulette after Vic's performance. Dax is enthused about going back again, while her husband Worf tells her they still prefers Klingon opera, and Kira says that she's leaving for Bajor in the morning. Dax slips and tells her to say hi to Shakar Adon for her, but realizing that she might have said too much. O'Brien becomes irritated when he hears what Kira's up to. After she leaves, Bashir carries on about Fontaine, telling O'Brien that if it wasn't for his pointers, he would not be dating Ensign Walker now. He points that Fontaine knows quite a lot about life, love, and women. The three things, O'Brien jokes, Bashir apparently knows something about. Odo, who is standing right there, hears all this and is suddenly intrigued. The next day, the constable is having a conversation with Quark in his office. Quark tells him that it's been over a year since Kira broke up with Shakar, and that all this time, Odo has said nothing about it. Odo says that it's not that simple, but for Quark it is simple. Odo had plenty of opportunities and let them all slip away. When Odo dismisses Quark's advice, Quark tells him that Odo is in fact not a very lovable person, as he is cold, rigid, and remote. Before he leaves, however, Odo comes to her and asks him for a favor: access to Dr. Bashir's new holosuite program. The constable returns to holosuite to talk to Vic about the situation with Major Kira. Vic says Zachary says that Odo loves Kira, but she considers him a friend. Vic adds that women have been known to change their minds, and that it is not really hard to get through to them, especially if they already like you. Odo says that Kira is aware of his feelings for her, and that she prefers another man with great charisma. Vic replies that it is not the other man he has to worry about, but himself. He asks him to lose his frozen solid appearance, and to allow those feelings he has inside of him to bubble to the surface. He tells him that he wants to win the girl, that to thaw him up a little bit, and that it was time they had some fun. The concept was quite unknown to Odo, and which Vic points out is precisely the problem. So long-term presses being against for Odo. He immediately changes into a tuxedo, and Vic puts him behind a piano together, and they perform a song that exhilarates Odo. Vic's goals as the constable become less shy and more social at ease every day, so that in the end he can win over his heart's desire. After the show, Odo and Vic are in Vic's apartment, discussing Odo's experience on stage. Odo is visibly relaxed. He admits to Vic that he is grateful that his friends did not witness the act. Vic advises Odo to take deep breaths right there to simply relax. Odo is skeptical, but tries it. He's waiting to just enjoy this when there's a knock on the door. Vic has invited two women to his apartment to interact with Odo. One of the women named Liz admires Odo's artistic hands and speaks with him about music, having seen the piano act at the club. Odo is uncomfortable with the attention, especially when Liz starts hitting on him. Vic sees his discomfort, and the woman invites him and Odo to a restaurant at the Dunes. Odo declines the invitation, being more interested in Major Kira than the holosuite women. But Vic convinces him that he needs to practice with other women and pursue Major Kira. They go off for the night. Later, Odo makes over to Captain Sisko. Interestingly, when he report, he hears the Chief of Security humming a song in his office, a change he is happy to see. Sisko joins along and sings with Odo and snaps his fingers to the tune. Odo stops and realizes that Odo heard him singing out loud. Meanwhile, traveling to opposite in the turbolift, Bashir and Dax talks about Kira's visit. She doesn't understand Bajor with Shakar, which makes them grow curious about the state of her relationship with the First Minister. Dex mentions Odo doesn't do anything about it, which is part of the problem. During the lesson in Holosuite, Odo's at the piano and Vic announces a special guest, Lola Crystal. However, she has Kira's likeness. Odo, a little stunned, watches Crystal sings the next tune while spending time close to him on the piano. Vic invites Crystal to hotel room with Odo, celebrating with a drink and leaves them alone. Odo plays along with the situation for it, expresses his feelings for Kira, then stops and has a little conversation with Vic about it. He's convinced that he'll never be like normally, knowing she's not really the real Kira. Vic promises Odo that he'll work on holoprogram security when Odo is done. Later, Kira's back at the station. She gets up with Odo on the promenade, but, and her with ear ready to line hello, he's politely short with her. To confusion, without Odo's knowledge, Vic goes to see Kira while she's meditating in a holosuite, having transferred his matrix from another holosuite. He invites Kira to a date in the holosuite on the constable's behalf. She's annoyed that he interrupted her, as this Odo should have asked her, but Vic is present and Kira agrees. While Odo is in his office, Vic contacts him to get to holosuite, promising a more realistic Kira program. Again, he's very persistent. During dinner, Odo's really needs for the Major, daring to show his real personality since he believes she's merely a hologram. He admits that in the past, his son's work be an excuse for not living his life, to which Kira understands. The music starts and Odo suggests a dance, even says to when Kira's not sure, when Kira says she's not sure how. The two gaze at each other's eyes. Kira suddenly sees Odo in a whole new light. It's just like a date outside of the holosuite. Odo tells Kira that she can't leave the holosuite since she's just a hologram. But Kira refuses and Vic admits that Odo has actually spent the evening with the actual Kira. What the fears of Vic is the deception, and the walls to go for embarrassed Odo, he excuses himself and leaves the holosuite. Kira turns to face Vic. He resonates over and shuts down the program himself. On the next day, Vic contacts Odo again to apologize. He says that it was time to talk to Kira for real, and that the night was worthwhile. Embarrassed, Odo says he can't imagine what Kira thinks of him now, and shuts off the communication. Meanwhile, Kira's struck as she thinks of the previous evening, and Dex asks if she's ever experienced a moment of true clarity. Dex admits that she has twice, but that's across all 7 of her lifetimes, and warns Kira that true clarity is very fleeting. Must be acted on straight away before confusion and doubt can begin to cloud it. Kira sees Odo immediately emerge from herself and experiences a moment of clarity. This time, she acts on it immediately. Kira approaches Odo, more difficult than ever, determined to forget the previous evening. Kira determines a chance to talk about what happened over dinner, seeing anywhere but a holosuite. Odo is about her relationship with Shakar, and Kira insists there is no relationship. Professor Sprell updated him of the war, and the two are nothing more than friends. The conversation seems increasingly angry to everyone as Kira asks again about dinner. Odo sarcastically asks what will happen afterward. Kira says dancing. Odo comes to Brooke and Kira just Kira might expect to kiss her after a date, to which Kira replies that she would. When it's then allowed by the dim dispenser, the president traces a kiss right there, to which Kira doesn't object. Suddenly, Odo grabs her and they have a fist. They have a first kiss right there, and they bring the promenade to a standstill as everyone, including Dex, Quark, and Warren, watch on in pleasant surprise. To continue on, despite their appearance. That's right there on the promenade. The two continue, despite the onlookers. Following this incident, Odo goes back into holosuite to thank Vic about all the things he has done, even if some looked like mistakes at first. Before leaving, Vic asks Odo to leave the program running for a few minutes, as he feels like singing. Vic gets up on stage and sings "Come Fly With Me," and Odo snaps his fingers while he exits the holosuite. Aw, it's nice. Hmm. Okay. So let's take a look at some production notes from this episode. Although the first take of the kiss between Odo and Kira was one scene in the finished episode, the experience of acting in the scene was not particularly enjoyable. As Archibald explains, quote, "We started the scene and then we got to the mark, boom, we kissed each other. When the old cut, we stopped. I looked at Nana, and her face was sort of orange and weird, and Dean Jones, my makeup artist, looked at me and went, oh God. We were so anxious that we've been so anxious about it, we just sort of went cuh and kissed. And my makeup got all over her face, and I tore my mask. Some people ask, what was it like to kiss Nana? I say, the definition of safe sex is the latex mask. It was the most unsensual kiss I'd ever had. I didn't feel anything." End quote. Nana Visitor herself chose to select Fever because of her mother's friendship with Doris Duke, a socialite patron of the arts, and one of the richest women in the world. When Visitor was a child, she and her mother would visit Duke's mansion in New Jersey, and Duke would play piano and sing for them. One particular visit, Duke sang Fever, and the way she had sang the song had a huge impact on Visitor. It was 9 at the time. Visitor explains, quote, she did Fever with this very breathy quality to her voice. I remember thinking, oh, that's a real sophisticated woman. That was a personal connection for me. It was a memory from when I was a little girl of what I thought a woman should be. I got to like that. I got to be that woman, end quote. The arts mural behind the bar was designed by Andrew Reeder and Anthony Fredrickson. The basic images of the musicians are champagne glasses on 50-style cocktail napkins, and Fredrickson designed the shapes, which he described as looking, quote, like livers, end quote. On the music for this episode, Jay Chino explains, quote, we were still picking tunes on the way to the recording studio because so many of them were cleared at the last minute. I couldn't really do full arrangements of them in advance, so I wrote generic intros and endings. I didn't know what the rhythm was going to be, or the key, or the tune did gigantic and clear. What was going to be, or when the tune did get cleared. I just said, quote, okay, we're going to use intro number 2, and we'll quickly rearrange for it to be the tune in the studio. I didn't know what the rhythm's going to be. I just say, okay, we're going to use intro number 2, and I'll quickly arrange for the tune in the studio. If I would have written music out too much, we wouldn't have had the magic of a lounge band. Our musicians were improvising as if they were combo players. Unquote. Hans Beaver commented, quote, I think of his way as the first musical on Deep Space Nine. Musicals are very difficult to make work, and I know that because Ira and I did Fame together, the television series. It was an experience in terms of how difficult it is to tell a good story in a musical. When you hit it, it feels great because it combines all the elements. There's nothing like a musical to make it happen. End quote. And now finally, let's take a look at some trivia from this episode. In discussing the Aloha Crystal hologram, we refers to the events of Armin Bashir. You know how difficult it was for me to get a holographic image of Major Kara? Looking for you, Julian. Looking for you, Julian used her image in one of his spy programs. It took me never to give her the Russian accent. Who's Kira? Is most of Anastasia Komanov's question, who is his name Kira and who is Dax? There's also a reference to Meridian, in which Quark has extreme difficulty obtaining Kira's image and fulfilled Turan's request for a personal holosuite program. The Quark does what it's been every year since Karen Shakar woke up. It's referring to the 5th season episode, Children of Time. The scene of Odo and Kira's dinner in Holosuite is suddenly chosen that Cyrano Barrage type story. The reference is Shecky, which confuses Odo. It's mostly referring to Shecky Green, the comedian who headlined in Vegas for over 30 years. Victor Borge, the name Odo was unfamiliar with, was a Danish comedian and author and actor who performed in Vegas and monitored the Great Dane. When Vic Fontaine says, "I was from the weekend with Frank," there's a wink to the audience. James Stern was good friends with Frank Sinatra Jr. Both knew Frank and Nancy Sinatra well. This episode aired less than a month before Frank Sinatra's death. The Orca Breachstream have agreed over Star Trek The Experience. Among the people who watch Odo characters the Promenade is Ventura for the Star Trek Starfleet Academy computer game. Interesting. So I really do like this episode, and hey, congrats on Kira and Odo finally getting together. So yay! So overall, I give His Way 4 warp cores out of 5. But anyway, tune in to the final episode of the day, which is The Reckoning. Yeah. So until then, get back here. Okay. No, that's what I want. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so until then, live long and prosper, everybody.